For those of you who have never been to a pitch day before, please, welcome. We've got for those of you who are online, we've got a much bigger room than we usually have because it's Startup Week. It's Las Vegas Startup Week. And we're across the street from our normal location. And we've got lunch and food and all sorts of stuff going on. So thanks for coming out to Pitch Day for 100K. It's a great day to pitch. It's always a great day to pitch. Today we're going to hear from Melissa and Danny from Hu-GPT. And then we're going to hear from MD or Michael DeLuca from Otzi. I'm really excited to hear from both of these sets of founders. And congratulations to both. On average, we screen 15 or 20 companies for every one that gets up here on the stage. And that's quite the ordeal that we put people through to be approved to pitch. So thanks for going through that. Before we go through it, just a couple of things. For those who are new to the program, StartUpNV, and I'm Jeff Sailing, by the way. I'm the executive director for StartUpNV. StartUpNV is the Nevada statewide nonprofit startup accelerator and incubator. We operate 7 free programs for entrepreneurs and 4 for-profit investment funds. Government grants and corporate sponsors support our nonprofit and its mission. And the government grants and sponsors help us pay for that in the short term. Over the long term, we're supported by our accelerator companies who pledge a small amount of their equity to the nonprofit, as well as the investors who invest in them pledge a portion of their profits to the nonprofit so that we don't keep having to beg for government grants forever. Now we run Pitch Day for 100K fortnightly on Wednesdays, where companies pitch for the Q&A and entry into our accelerator program, which comes with an investment from FundNV. Now that FundNV investment is added to by our investor syndicate that numbers about 300 people. And then all of that money is put together and it's matched by Nevada's SSBCI program. Now, since 2021, our funds and syndicates have completed 20 transactions in companies, directly investing $9.4 million. Partners like GoEd and others have invested alongside us, making that total about $30 million. That's an average, if you do quick math, about $500,000 per company that we invest directly, along with another $1.5 million that come from our partners on average. Now that $9.4 million of direct investment that we've done is currently worth $27.3 million. So not bad. So if you're an investor out there thinking, how do I make some money? Talk to me after. I'll tell you all about it. So that's a pretty good track record for investing after just 3 years. Now for the disclaimer, so all the lawyers can listen in. The founders pitching today are pitching for investment from our venture funds and syndicate, which comply with SEC and Nevada Certified Investor Regulations. Now we invite the whole community out to attend for educational purposes, kind of like watching Shark Tank, but hopefully a little friendlier. Once again, the pitches today are not a general solicitation for investment to the general public. They're pitching to our funds and our syndicate. Now, our nonprofit work would not be possible without financial help from the grants and our corporate sponsors, the City of Las Vegas, Clark County, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, the EDA, the USDA, are all members of the folks who are supporting StartUpNV, and I want to thank them for their support. Just a couple of program notes as we get started. First, we're live on YouTube, and we're also recording this session. And we create 2 recordings for each of our presenters. The first is just their pitch, just from the time they introduce themselves until they put up their question slide. That goes on, unless we're told not to, and I think MD, you've told us you don't want to see it on our public YouTube channel, so we won't put it out there. So that goes out on our public YouTube channel. And then the one that has all the Q&A, that's private. The only people who see that are the founders, people in the room who are seeing it live, and our investors. Now, we usually get a few hundred people watching live and viewing the recordings afterwards. So founders, you may get some direct connections from outside of this session here today. And some of those connections are awesome. And some of those connections are strange. So we'll ask you that you treat them all professionally. And the way it works today is each founder gets 10 minutes to pitch. So be sure to finish on time. Maggie will be counting you down and cutting you off if you go too long. If you finish sooner than 10 minutes, that's swell. That's just fine. For those who want to ask questions, jump on the Zoom, type them into the chat. Maggie asks all the questions. We get through a lot more questions that way and a lot quicker. So please, please put your questions in Zoom in the chat. The only announcement I have for today is about tomorrow. Our session tomorrow at Vegas Startup Week is in Henderson. So maybe it's called Henderson Startup Day. But it's at CSN in Henderson in the Student Union in the ballrooms. So if you want to come out to Startup Week tomorrow, go down to Henderson, go to CSN, go to the Student Union, and you'll find us in the ballrooms there. All right, so we are ready to get started.
Hello, I'm Melissa Leone. I'm the founder and CEO of Hu-GPT and the first successful Native American woman in AI. Joining me today is my CTO, Danny Wall. He's the talent behind it all. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, the threat of AI attacks looms larger than ever. Hu-GPT are trailblazers on a mission to redefine digital identity and security. Our cutting-edge application specializes in distinguishing real individuals from AI deepfakes in live stream audio and video calls. Using proprietary logic and advanced AI algorithms, we analyze live streams in real time to distinguish the person and verify that the person you're speaking with is genuine. Sorry. Imagine a world where your digital identity is safeguarded around the clock, where you don't have to worry about who you're interacting with and how you can succeed and make sure you're speaking with the right people. Yeah. Today, in today's world, it is easy to deepfake. It's easy to defraud people. On a simple audio capture and video recording or audio recording, I can simulate you and replicate you and manipulate either money, or I can manipulate maybe safeguarded passwords into your corporate entity. Everybody remember MGM last year? I'm going to turn this over to Danny to talk about the nuts and bolts of what we do and how we do it. He's the brains and talent behind it all. I came up with this on my own, but he's the one that wrote the code.
Okay, so the idea is that we detect deepfakes or fakes really of any kind as they happen. We detect them in audio, video, even images in real time and at scale. The bottom line is we determine what is real from what is not. The reason why we have succeeded in accomplishing a 99.999999% accuracy rating, whereas our closest competition has a 98% accuracy rating, is that too many people, they're focused on finding AI. And as AI advances and gets better, it becomes harder and harder and harder to find that. We don't care about finding AI. We care about determining what makes you uniquely you. We are determined to find authenticity. We are looking at a target market, a total addressable market of actually north of $100 billion. You can see on the screen, we actually have links that justify how we have reached that. A service addressable market of just US spending on that at 25 billion with a 100 million obtainable market. And we actually think we can defeat that. We're gonna get to that $100 million obtainable market because our whole entire system is API driven, which lets us now incorporate our solution into basically any cyber offering that's already out there in the market. The truth is we have very nearly zero competition. The closest that we actually have is Palantir. They are relatively similar to what we do, but their architecture is horrendously expensive, and it is available only to national governments. There is Resemble AI. They are attempting to compete in this space. However, their accuracy rating at 98%, if you're a bank, 98% and you're getting 1,000 calls a day, that means you're going to have multiple instances where this thing could be wrong every single solitary day, that you just can't accept that kind of accuracy rating. Now, there are the embedded interests, the financial CDD companies, the cybersecurity companies. They are actually not our competition. However, they're our channel partners, because we can go into these companies with our API and allow them to extend their software very easily and very quickly to provide this enhanced level of capability. Our business model. What we're looking at is an enterprise software licensing model focused initially on the financial sector and enterprises that have experienced current fraud already. There is actually a very large number of them because defrauding and deepfaking somebody with AI is so simple. We have a very basic pricing model, $100,000 to install, $50,000 per GPU. There is a 4 GPU minimum for our software to function. However, that gives a decently high level of functionality. We do have a few other add-ons and those kinds of things that extend our pricing to be a little bit more expensive. Our go-to-market strategy is going to start with direct sales. Our Chief Operations Officer, who unfortunately could not attend us today, is already speaking through his contacts into the financial center. And then we have joint venture partnerships with people like Quant Samurai, that is headed up by the former CEO of the tech giant Tech Mahindra. And he's actually trying to get us into Tech Mahindra to do pilots and make them a channel partner. They are one of the largest cybersecurity firms in the country. We are also looking at a pilot with the cybersecurity firm Arctic Wolf to roll our offerings into them. Our team is headed by our CEO, Melissa Leone. She comes to us as a serial entrepreneur, having started a few successful business, Spider V2X being chief among them most recently. She is a former professional coach, and it is those skills that she brings to the table now to help create high-performing teams. Our COO, David Gerber, 30 years of sales experience creating, software experience creating high-value software companies. He also, most recently, has experience with mergers and acquisitions and investment banking. And then, of course, there's me, CTO. I have been doing data mining, which is sort of the predecessor to AI and AI large decision support systems now for more than 30 years. I'm going to turn it over to Melissa to finish this up.
So our ask is $500,000 price. We're going to plan on using that money for software and growth expansion of what our technology is doing. We're trying to expand to forensic level analysis. So I want to be able to expand that. And we're also going to be using some of that money for sales and marketing. There's really no real competition for us. Everybody else right now is analyzing things in a completely different way, in a way that isn't going to sustain the future. Our company and our technology has been validated by Microsoft. It was reviewed this May by their critical investment team. And we were deemed to be a foundational solution as AI addresses and goes forward. I really have, the technology is proprietary, but we did not patent it yet. I want to make sure that I can protect my patents. So I want to have a strong core behind me. I'm working on building that board and the strength behind me to be able to fight and maintain my patents, because once this gets out, everybody will want to do it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We would like to open up the floor for questions.